Hey there, this is Caden Sinclair. I'm doing a little bit of an update on Biodome because it's been a while, and an update is a little bit of a misnomer because we've only done a few videos, so this may be the first video that you see, but I wanted to do a tour. So the Biodome project is really kind of two projects. One is what we're actually working on physically built, has people going in and out of it. There's an art piece, and then there's the wish list project, which is a much bigger project, and that's something that's been worked on for several years and will continue until it either is realized or it can't happen. So I'm going to focus on the project that actually is in existence and that we're building out. I'm going to provide a little bit of video so you can actually see the tour here in a second, and I'll narrate over the top of that. But to give you a quick idea of what it is, the Biodome project is kind of like a botanical garden, tropical botanical garden you'd see in most cities. So it's a 44-foot dome, 44-foot in diameter dome, which means 22 feet tall. The dome is climate controlled. We are in Boise, Idaho, so a zone 6 outside does not translate well to tropical plants. And so what we've done is, just like a lot of places that do tropical gardens in a controlled space, is set up an environment which is around 75 to upwards of about 95 in the summer, all year round. And in this case, it also is 100% humidity. It rains in there, and we have living walls, a lot of tropical plants, and we're putting a very large art piece in the middle that is interactive. And the purpose of doing these videos is because it's a community project. It's because, like myself, a lot of people love plants, and we thought people might want to know what's going on. So I'm doing a video. I'm going to try to do now. I'm going to try to do some videos kind of as we go along so you can see the progress. There are some previous videos already created, so you can see the 2 years it's been in existence. Mostly it's just 1 year with actual plants in it, and that way you can kind of see what's been going on throughout the last year. And the other thing is that because this is a community effort, and so we're going very, very slowly, and that's because it is very expensive. We don't have a lot of support. We're kind of hoping that as people see this, they'll be inclined to support the project a little bit more. That'll help us with building it out more. One of the things that I thought would be really cool is putting a wish list of things together, meaning like plants or materials, and that way if people like to shop and they want to go shop for something and have it delivered to the dome, we would unbox it. Thank you profusely for your generous donation of that particular plant set or material, and then put it into the space, and you could see how it integrated into the space. We could always use money because there's a lot of bills associated with the heating and cooling of everything, the water, a lot of the kind of logistical stuff, meaning the things like the insurance and the property costs and stuff like that. So I'm really hoping that you get interested in this project, kind of see it grow, and actually participate in it, especially as we have a lot of things we'd like to put in. Currently, we have a whole bunch of orchids. We've got bromeliads, some carnivorous plants, and a lot of stuff, and you'll see that in the little tour we do here in a second. But there's a lot of stuff we'd love to do, like lithops. I'd love to do the rock garden type stuff, some starts of those, cactus. There's a whole bunch of other wish list items. In addition to that, we could use things like perlite, more living walls. There's soil that needs to go in, a lot of stone. So there's places that you could contact and order those if you want to do that directly, or we will buy those if you're generous enough to give us some help. So on that note, let's get started on the tour, and you can see what's going on. So we're starting the tour here in the pergola, which is under construction. It's a little building that's 16 by 32. It does sit outside of the Biodome space and adjacent to the coffee shop. And it's for the purpose of people just kind of hanging out, have coffee, read books, laptops, participate in some of the nonprofit activities, and pretty much another overflow space for plants. It's climate controlled as well, and as we get it built out, we'll have a lot of plants in here too. So wanted to start us off in here, kind of give you an idea of what we're working on. And you'll see Constellation Coffee there off to the right. That's our little coffee trailer. And one of the grand rings, this is the second grand ring that flanks the entrance to the space. They are part of an art project. And this is just pretty much the entrance to the big dome. There are two domes, so as we go into the main dome, you can see we have some banners there to kind of describe the website and a picture of the art project that's going in the middle. So let's go inside. And yeah, so this is the inside of the main dome, and a lot of construction. We're still working on a lot of stuff. But in the middle, you can see where that sculpture is being built. That's what all those wood pieces are, kind of off to the side and in the middle. That's opalescence. That big Fabergé egg will be built all the way to the ceiling, and it will have about close to 100,000 LEDs on it. It will be remotely programmable for people all over the world, so I'm looking forward to that sculpture as it goes in. And now we'll just kind of take a look at some of the plants. This isn't a great video edit. I'm not the best at video editing. Again, this is something that we're just getting started, so don't have a lot of time to spend on this, especially since I work full-time. But you can see we've got a pretty good start on the living walls. We've got some orchids that you saw earlier. This is just some succulents in the walls, some orchids there, and some bromeliads, air plants, and another orchid in bloom. I think we're going on 250 orchids. I've lost count. There are so many small orchids in the space. We have not the best setup for some of these, the stone crops and the echeveria. A little bit, they need a little bit different environment, so we'll be moving this bed. But for now, things are pretty happy. You can see some of that's in full bloom, which is awesome. And a lot of little things that we've got started that are just starting to take off. There is some Delosperma that did not do well. It's a little flat to the ground off to the right there, and an echeveria that's suffering. But the agaves are doing pretty good, and some of the other stuff. That Delosperma is actually doing quite good. Some more succulents, and you'll have to forgive me. I know quite a few plants, but I'm nowhere near some of the great people out there that do tours of spaces. I'm just not. I'm learning, but and you'll notice too that a lot of the plants that you'll see are pretty standard. Some of them, like this Cognac amorphophallus or voodoo lily, is a little unique. Can't wait for it to bloom. It smells like rotting corpse, so that'll be fun for people. But here we have some Christmas cactus or Chobelgera, so there's a lot of those actually mixed in, some more orchids. I thought that's fun. Some of this stuff is going crazy for not having been in very long. It's reaching to the ground. And we did have to rip out some fairly large monstera. They were just absolutely taking over. So I've planted another small one, and I'm going to be training it up a climbing area. I love this little tree we've created. It's just full of bromeliads, and there's about 15 or 16 nepenthes in hanging baskets throughout, different kinds that we've gotten. I'm really excited for those to grow. A few orchids. Again with bromeliads. Here's a little bit broader view, just so you can see some of the passiflora. Those have really taken over, but I love them. There's one of the large ones there you see is dropping fruit, which is wonderful. A pond over there, which is really fun. The little fish in there, about a foot long. Brookmansia. Now we're taking a little tour of the smaller dome. This is just, right now, we've got stuff that we moved in here and some starts. And so there's not a lot to this. We still intend to build this out. It does have climate control in it. We're doing some supplementary heat for now till we get it a little bit more built. You're going to see some dragon fruit that I've just started. There's a little bit of ridiculous binding there. I just had those handy because there was a bale of straw, so that's me just wrapping those around really fast. And then a bunch of plants that we moved out of the other dome. Some of them got a little burned as we moved them. It was like 0 degrees here not too long ago, so it's in the like 20s and 30s right now. So stuff outside doesn't do very well. But a little bit of the I forget what that's called. This is a type of oregano. Vicks plant. It's got menthol in it, which is an interesting smell. Purple velvet. Oh, those are so pretty, but boy, do they stink when they bloom. And they are quite prolific in these spaces. They've bloomed and bloomed. We had to rip out a bunch of them. And again, we're just kind of taking a little bit of a gander at some of the stuff in the starter dome. that's done pretty well. You can see little pots with things in them. And then kind of a little bit more of a tour of the living walls and that space. I did take an extra video. I was mentioning the Passiflora. It's dropping fruits. So we're almost done with that cycle. They're so delicious. I'm so excited to have fresh Passiflora, passion fruits. And it's a year old, and we're hacking it back constantly, but it blooms quite prolifically. Standard begonia. We've got a few begonias in here. I'm interested in getting some more of those in, so I'm really excited to kind of look at some of the space we have available and what we can put in here. You'll notice that there's a bunch of the Christmas holiday cactus in the back there, the Chamboulgara, and I forget the other variety, but there's quite a few colors. We've been pollinating them. I have one fruit from last year, so I'm kind of excited to let that finish developing and get some seeds, see what we got out of it. And these dragon fruits are just not doing well. They got moved. The other ones got moved into the other dome. I love that the vibrant color of that variegated ginger is just beautiful. And a lot of these, like I said, the living walls are pretty young, but the orchids that are in them are doing pretty well. And some of them look a little ratty because it's their natural growth cycle. That one's actually funny because it's normally without leaves in there. It's got tons of leaves, so managed to catch it when it's starting to put those out before it starts blooming crazily. Here's again the Passiflora. This thing's in bloom quite a bit, and we have 5 varieties. We'll see 3 of the flowers here, and so we've got, and forgive me, I don't have the notes in front of me as to what those are, but they are, in my mind, they're I think cerulean, and then there's a purple and a red, and a little bit of a bog garden, so you'll see a bunch of sundews in there and some butterworts, and we'll hike our knickers up and take a look at this red one, and that closes out our tour. So I hope you liked the tour. I realize there's a lot of stuff that's very young in there. There's a lot of cleanup that needs to be done. We have quite a lot of leaf debris, for example, vines that need to be picked out. But again, it's just a small community of people trying to get this started. We are very new, but we love it. And so as it grows and we get a little bit more ability to get a handle on some of the stuff that's growing in there, then it'll look a little cleaner. But hopefully you liked the tour, and I will say that there's a lot of room to put stuff in. It's not a huge space. It's our starter space. We intend to make something much larger as we go along. There are 2 domes. A little bit of the tour showed that, and if we have our way, we will have a much bigger place. So if you're inclined to help us out, again, we could certainly use it. That sculpture in the middle is going to be absolutely fantastic when it's done, and you'll get to play with it. So yeah, describe that a little bit in the video too. But till next time, again, thank you for watching.